Hello and welcome to Rush Racing League, and it is the Sunday when we return to Division 4 coverage. It's Season 8, and it's time for Round 16 at the Japanese Grand Prix. It's time to go to Suzuka, and this is one of those circuits that is potentially quite a legendary circuit, I think, and we've certainly got a lot of great corners to go through. Turn 1, of course, being one of them. Through the S's we go, into the Dunlop corners, into the Degners, all the way through. Beautiful track. Spoon curve, of course, one to look out for as well. And this is going to be a fantastic round of racing here today. Clear skies at the moment as we head into our regular format for the weekends. We've got Q1, Q2, Q3 coming up for your viewing pleasure, along with a 50% race today, which is going to be great to see. That is what we want to see, of course, at this beautiful location in Japan. 5.8-kilometer circuit, 3.6 miles. And in a typical Grand Prix, there'll be 53 laps. Today, going to be a little bit less than that, about 27 or 28 laps for today's race, which is going to be great. And a little overview of the Drivers' Championship. Ricciardo is in the lead, 243 points, followed by Pep, who was leading for most of the season up until round 14. And now he's only on 234, being chased down by Cooper the Bot, whose dry weather performance has been second to none, other than maybe Ricciardo on a couple of occasions, and that brilliant sprint format we had at the Interlagos circuit last week. Of course, was a bit of a showdown and turned the way of Aston Martin, who are currently in the lead of the Constructors' Championship for Division 4 on 435 points, with Mercedes now trailing to 399. So plenty of stuff still to come in this season of racing, but at the moment it's Aston Martin on top in both the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship. That previous round at Interlagos, of course, we had Tudor jumping into the car. He did incredibly well in that Kick Sauber. Moontime, Stoyn now, was doing incredibly well in the Ferrari, as well as his reserve for Ferrari, who's back again. Flubber has returned to the grid, which is great to see. So we are going to be looking forward to a great bit of action today out on track. My name is George Cook, also known as Crazy Good Kung Fu. I'll be leading your commentary today and joined by, as always, it's Dido. Dido, welcome back to the commentary box, mate. I think we're finally underway. And Suzuka, do you love it or do you hate it?
Yeah, mate. Thank you for having me. Obviously, again, looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a good one. I'm mixed here. I mean, it's growing on me a little bit over the last few seasons, but it's a tough track, especially the first sector, and it can really upset a few drivers. Can really cause some drama, especially turn one, that one with the race. So we'll have to wait and see how they go. I'm just on board with Flying Kiwi as he's the first out, which is surprising. It's not who was it usually? And it's not tonight. He's not here tonight, I think.
Who's that you're referring to? Well, either way, yes, it is Flying Kiwi out on track, going through Spoon Curve at the moment. I believe, yes, he is. So we'll keep a close eye on that.
Who he's reserving for. Someone's reserving him tonight. Anyway, but Flying Kiwi out on track, the Haas. But how do you feel about Suzuka, mate? I mean, I'm not sure if you race here personally in any sort of racing, but do you like it at a commentator's perspective?
Well, I love commentating on it. I love this circuit. It's fantastic. Casio Triangle, one of my particular favorite corners. Love it. It's just a lot of fun. Turn one, absolutely crazy. I love flying into there. Mainly race it, though, in GT3 class cars. So it's a very different experience for these Formula One drivers in this, much more high-paced. That said, I have driven Group 1 or GT1/LMDH category cars around here, and it's a lot of fun. I just love it. I love the sweeping nature of the first sector. The Degners are really challenging, and then into that low-speed chicane. Well, not chicane, but hairpin just before you head towards Spoon. I think it's just a lovely flowing circuit. Now, is it maybe the best racing that you get at this circuit? Maybe not so much in Formula One, as it often is very, very difficult to pass at a track like this. But honestly, overall, I think it is one of those great tracks. Maybe a little bit of reprofiling needed at some point just to increase the racing that we get at a track like this. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is a personal favorite of mine. Let me know in chat, everyone. Let us know if this is your favorite, if you don't like it, or if you do like it. Welcome into everyone in chat, by the way. You're watching on twitch.tv/Rush Racing League. And a big thanks to our sponsors at Rush Racing, AI369, Pagnian, SimLabs, and S Nation. Thank you all so much for being sponsors of this series, and we are barreling towards the F1 25 release and season 9 as well, which is bodes to be quite exciting too. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm a fan. I like this place. I like to see it. I love to see the cars go around here. So I'm at home.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You say it is definitely a tough track to pass on in saying that, but Div 4 have really delivered with racing, and no matter sort of what track they've been on lately. So we see some times rolling now. There's 2 Asian VO at Zane's 129.2, so he's big gap back to Flying Kiwi there. Saw Flying Kiwi hit a bit of the curb on his first lap, so he might be going again. Uncle Morty hasn't validated. Unfortunately, there, Salmons also on a lap in the Red Bull. Red Bull looking for some big points tonight. A lot of teams looking for points as the season starts to wrap itself up now. About four rounds left. 3 rounds, I think, if you don't include this one. Panic goes fast.
Yeah, not too far to go in the season, and it is Aston Martin on top at the moment for Division 4. I believe there was a bit of a points reshuffle in the overall standings across all the divisions. I'll let you be the one to comment on that, as I don't know much about the situation, but Panic, yes, now Panic to top, followed by 2 Asian for you, and I think the reserve we've got up today is ASIF, Alamadi. So I think it's Alamadi reserving in for Racing Bulls today. We do have a yellow in Sector 1. We'll keep an eye on what that is. Looks like it's a slow Haas. Who is that? Is that Salmons? Yeah, it was Sammy the Slammer going slow there just before the Degners.
Yeah, it's difficult in quali. Trying to get out of the way, trying to warm up your tyres. It can be a bit frustrating, especially here, as you said. It's a fin track, and I think the issue with the racing here is the cars are just so much bigger now compared to what F1 used to be. So they probably the racing. I'm hoping the cars get addressed in future years. I mean, they could be a little bit shorter, in my opinion. A little bit. I love the fatness, the fat tires and everything, but I reckon they could be a little bit shorter. And then maybe chuck out these edges, chuck the V10s back in.
Do we need a phrase like never trust a skinny baker, never trust a fat Formula One car? Is maybe the adage that we need to start to enforce out here. I completely agree. I can't wait to see that the cars get back to a slightly more compact format. It will encourage racing. If they do end up bringing back the V10s, which unfortunately I think is unlikely, just because of the whole green, renewable, blah blah blah, want to have a good image kind of thing. Well, if they wanted a good image, they wouldn't have taken us to the American circuits, would they?
No, man. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And I did kind of forget tonight, obviously, it's full quali again. So we're back to full quali. Last week, and we had the sprint, so we had short quali and obviously sprint quali format with usually a medium tire run and then a soft tire. So these guys have to get back into that groove of really getting a really solid run. The first, like the idea is to only do 1 run in this Q1 session. But if you have to do 2, it can be quite frustrating, especially if you're trying to save a set of softs, which I don't think is the end of the world if you don't have a soft tyre for the race here. I don't think many drivers will use the softs. I don't think.
No, I don't imagine it being a sensible thing to do, because you've got some of the corners, like obviously the Degners are one, Dunlop is another, and then through Spoon Curve, and then 130R, and it does just hurt the tires a lot. And once the tire temps gets away from you, you're going to be struggling. So you kind of want to be on a slightly harder compound. You do see that as well in real Formula One, as well, where they go 100% on qualifying, get on the softs, go fast, but boy, they're only getting in 2 or 3 laps at the tops on those.
Yeah, like Toodles just said in the comment, tire deg super high here. And obviously we're unaware of what weather it is. If it rains here, it is common rain here. So that could be interesting. The boys might be able to flick on the softs towards the end as Ricciardo's about to cross the line here. Very competitive this season. We'll see what he can do here. Go fastest, 28.5.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, he's been quite competitive. He's he's only leading the drivers' championship right now in Division 4. So he's been relatively competitive in this season.
But he has too much.
Yeah, exactly right. No, he's obviously been incredible this season. Had the qualifying pace, had the race pace, executed some great strategy calls out there. Cooper and Pep have been his eternal enemies this season, but he seems to have just been consistent enough to bring it home. I mean, when we had the wet races, he comes alive. Absolutely comes alive.
Yeah.
Cooper, we know he doesn't like the wet, so he's a little bit down on wet conditions. So, Ricciardo just starts to shine, and this has been a massive aspect of Aston Martin's success so far in Division 4. They had a shocking start to the season. It just went all wrong for them for about 4 or 5 races in a row, and Mercedes, we were just going, well, Mercedes will win again, and we'll see you at the end of the season kind of thing. And now here we are, and Aston Martin are back on top. So it is fantastic to see. By the way, we do have another reserve, and he's just gone P2. It is Grizz, who is reserving in for Kick Sauber this week. So Tudor Gaming's in chat, joining us there, and not out on track.
Yeah, no whispers around from Tudor, he believes in the comments, and I do believe Grizz is actually being signed full-time from Kick, so if he has, that team's a powerhouse at the moment. P2, P3, Aston P1, P4, looking very good. In these opening stages, they won't need to go out again because they are well and truly safe. Obviously, the 15 go through. Williams struggling in his opening lap. P4 and P15, they're both Ferraris yet to do a lap. Sammy and Asif, which I believe is Bangalore. So these guys are all looking to improve. And I think from about P10 down, maybe P12 down, they'll probably go back out for another run.
Yes, indeed, and the Ferrari is now starting their out laps, or Stoyan certainly is. Flubber's on a hot lap right now, so Stoyan has just moved kindly over just before they headed into Spoon. We've got a Kick Sauber just behind them, and yes, apologies, yep. Grizz is, of course, full-time. Tudor was reserving in for him last time out. And there's a Mercedes going slightly off track as well. As we head into 130R, 130 radians, and that is 130% confidence you need through there as well, as it is a scary, scary corner. Super, super high speed. And the goat of that corner, as we all know, Fernando Alonso, he is probably going to have his face tattooed into the surface of the tarmac at some point there, just to honor the overtake that he did masterfully many, many years ago. I do also note the Kick Sauber's just general team vibe is everyone is a goat. Everyone who drives a Kick Sauber is a goat in the eyes of Kick Sauber, which is a great team team culture to be going into. A lot more serious notes for the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes and Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's interesting. Stoyan and Sammy, the only ones not to do runs yet. Stoyan, though, on a lap currently, as I think we were riding on board with him now. So yeah, I don't know who I could pick for pole here, as at times it's super close, especially in that top 3. Dynasty now slips into P3 with a 28.7. He's done 3 laps on those stuff, so just watch out for him. He might be able to show some pace in these later quality sessions, but who do you think's in trouble here? Obviously, Williams look like they're going to come out again. Uncle Morty and Jenna most likely will have to. Maybe even SJ and Kiwi, depending on what Stoyan and Semi do, which is likely they are going to go a lot faster. Stoyan's a little bit off the pace in the middle sector compared to the top 3. He's done a 112. They did a higher 111 through there. See what he does here across the line. You only go P11. But that should be okay. He actually hit the wall.
Yeah, I was about to say, he hit the wall on the end there. Just, I don't know if that helped him or if that hindered him. Maybe he's trying to, put a little bit more kinetic energy into the car just to see if it'll edge him across the line just that little bit faster. Might be a thousandth of a second or so here or there for that. He's currently 8 one-thousandths of a second off the back of Pep, who's in P10. I was thinking to myself, you're going to need to be in the 29s to be up there in the top 15 to make it up. Into Q2, we'll be dropping the bottom 4 drivers at the end of the session, and we'll go into Q2, where another 5 will disappear, and then it'll be the top 10 shootout for Q3. Cooper has said that's it. 28.8 is good enough. Ricciardo's 28.5 still holding strong with Grizz in P2 currently, followed by Dynasty Sparrow. Nice to see him back up at the top. We're seeing glimpses of the ultimate pace from most of these cars. They're going to be well into the 28s by the time we get to Q3. But yeah, currently, I think Sammy the Slammer, he needs to be out on a lap ASAP, or he is not going to set a lap and he will be starting last place in this race. So 32.1 for Wogjet. Deadly Follow, the Williams need to get a move on. I get the feeling, my feeling here is that we're probably going to see potentially an Alpine, a Haas, and maybe a couple of Williams in the Red Bull. That's my feeling. I think we're pretty set on the bottom 15 at the moment. They're all sitting in the pits. They're all waiting for that last lap. So it's still a chance for all of them out on the track. But we shall see what happens at the end of the day. Our predictions, as the great Murray Walker has always said, we don't make predictions here in the commentary box. We make prophecies that turn out to be false. And so continuing in that great legacy, we will continue to make prophecies that turn out to be false.
Absolutely, absolutely, mate. I think Wogjet's in trouble here. I know for a fact he turned off Racing Line as an assist tonight, so he's struggling. But he actually lost his end plate, so he's had to pit. I don't know if he'll be able to. He should be able to get back out again. But he's had to use probably 2 sets at least now. He's not liking this track with no line, which is probably not the best track to take Racing Line off. It's a tough one, but we'll have to see if he can break back out of this. Colleague, he's in trouble. Sammy also in the comments struggling, saying that he is obviously Sammy is struggling. That's his own words. So yeah, I reckon possibly maybe a double Williams, maybe even a double Haas. Yeah, a few teams struggling.
Yeah, we'll see. We're currently on board with Jenneth. He's just on his outlap at the moment, flying Kiwi now out for the outlap. Master and Panic have decided they want to just get a little bit more confidence on the track and get out there, put in another lap. They're 6th and 7th currently out on circuit, so they are pretty well safe. If you had asked me a few minutes ago, I would have said a 29.5-ish would be the cutoff point, but we're still sitting in the 130s, 14th and 15th place, both in the 130s at the moment. So Jenneth now on a lap. Let's go through and have a little look and give you a little bit of information about this track. So through we go into turn 1, now into the sweeping S's. You go left, you go right, and you go left again. The uphill one here. Just got to be careful of that inside curb as you sweep through here. Get off the throttle, get back on. Now Dunlop, got to turn this in nicely. Bit of a missed apex there, but you can get away with that. Jenneth does so. Now heading towards Degner 1. Really tricky right-hander. Turn it in, cut the curb there a little bit, hard on the brakes, and down a couple of gears and through into Degner 2. Now firing towards this wonderful, wonderful hairpin. Get on the brakes nice and early. A lot of our drivers choosing and opting for the wider line, avoiding the inner curb there because it is on camber and dips quite deeply in towards that inside curb. Now down the hill, up to the right, and we're into Spoon Curb, the double apex, very, very tricky corner. Get it turned in that first part, and then you've got to hug the apex. He's actually missed it there, so that's time loss for Jenneth on this one. Now again, flat to the floor, head all the way up to 130R, the 130 radians. Thank you very much, Japan, for naming these corners. Up the radians, through we go. Does drop a gear through there, it looks like, and now at the 100 board, hit on the brakes hard. You got the Casio triangle to go through. It's a right-hander, it's a left-hander. Watch the exit curb. You don't want to get the car unsettled through that part, and across the line, hug the right-hand side. And that is a decent lap for Jenneth. He's in P13, but it's not good enough for, I don't think, to keep him out because we've got a number of fast cars coming up behind him rapidly.
Yeah, it'll take a bit of luck to get him through this Q1 session. I think he needed a little bit more than that. There's a lot of cars on laps. Even the race, the P1 at the moment, Ricciardo are currently on a lap. A lot of tows too happening now. The few struggling cars, and maybe the Williams. Red Bull definitely looking like they're towing each other. Uncle Morty being a big tow down this main straight. So we'll see here. Jenneth in trouble. Maybe even SJ. I think SJ's struggling, obviously reserving up tonight. He looks like he's done. He's low on fuel, so he's done. He will not improve.
Yeah, we saw him going slow out of Degner 2. He was sort of pulled over to the side of the road, so that was never going to be... I don't know if he's made a mistake earlier on the lap. We shall see. We just had a quick camera shot of Sammy the Slammer, who got very, very loose through Dunlop. So that meant that he's lost a lot of time because that's where you need to be on the power early, just before the apex, as you head up the hill. Keeping an eye now on Uncle Morty. His lap of 130.2, not good enough to get past the cutoff zone. Flying Kiwi comes across the line. No improvement for the Haas driver. So that is a disaster for him. Puts Z Governor up into the box seat, potentially to stay in with a 29.777. And he comes across the line as well. Jenneth will also be coming across the line to finish his. We've had, who's that? Someone's jumped up?
Sammy, P7.
Very nice. So Sammy, despite that little bit of an incident at Dunlop, has managed to get himself up into the zone that'll allow him to go through into Q2. Nice lap there. We know that man's got tons of pace. What can Uncle Morty do? He's been demoted all the way to last place. He's got to get up to at least a 29.7 and does so nicely. 7th place, 29 flat for Uncle Morty. Who else can do it? I think we've got the remainder of those in the bottom are all pitted, and that'll be your bottom 4. It's going to be SJ, Deadly Fella, Wogjet, and Flying Kiwi. So double Williams elimination, Dido.
Yeah, I mean, not what I would want, obviously, but a bit hard, obviously. Look how close, obviously, it is in that bottom sort of P12 down. Kilo's really struggling. Jennifer just staying in, as he said, it'd take a bit of luck, and he got that in P15, so he's safe. But SJ out, 2 Williams, and Flying Kiwi, I believe, all out in first few. So that's not what they would like, obviously, but very close at the top. Come through, Ricciardo leading the way, Grizz and Pet are the top 3, but from about P1 down to about P6, you couldn't really separate them. I mean, pretty much down to P10, really. These guys are really competitive.
Well, there's 1.1 seconds all the way through between P1 and P15. So there's nothing in it. 0.8 of a second between P1 and P14. I think Jenneth was a little bit lucky there, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I said, bit of luck, and a few guys maybe not getting the luck that they would hope for has allowed him to save that, and maybe he'll have a little bit of a chance to correct his setup a little bit and chuck on a fresh set of tyres and improve. But now we're down to 15, and this is going to get really hard now to get into this top 10 because it's really competitive. Like we said, I think it's even more competitive in this group of 15 here to be able to pick a 10 out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can pick 10 just by making a prophecy at this point. I mean, we saw the top time there to get through into Q2 was a 29.68. So that's going to mean that you need to be probably hitting the low 29s if you've got any hope. It was 0.8 of a second separating P1 from P14. Pep with a late last lap got himself up to P3. So good effort there by the Mercedes driver, looking for a bit of a late resurgence in the season, which he certainly needs. He's currently sitting P2. In the championship on 234 points, his rival Ricciardo on 243 points. So last 2 digits, a bit reversed there for each of them. So that is currently a 9-point gap. So Pep's still in it for the season, but he needs some good results. He needs to be up there challenging Ricciardo, and that's going to come down to a good qualifying today at Suzuka.
Yeah, it starts here. Obviously, in quali, he needs to be up there from the start and needs a bit of luck. Like we said, Ricciardo's form's been crazy, and obviously here he's looking like it might continue with the pace that he's had in the last few rounds. And if his teammate can be up there with him, we could be looking at a really, really dominant performance from Aston.
Yeah, we could be. We do have some people coming into the commentary box, so these eliminated drivers. Unfortunately, we're going to have a little interview with all of them today. We're going to start off with SJ. He's reserving up for McLaren today. SJ, welcome into the commentary box, mate. That qualifying session, it was so close, about 1/10 of a second there, 29.777. What happened out there today?
Track.
Are you on the side of don't like it or like it?
I hate Japan. No, I hate Japan. I hate it. I think it's all about the momentum. Yeah. This and Imola, mate. Yeah, no, they can go in the bin. I think it's all about Sector 1. You need to get. It's the momentum going into Sector 1. Even turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, it's the hardest part of the track, and then the rest is pretty easy. But my first quali, my brake bias was all wrong, so I was losing the back end.
Isabella!
I was losing the back end out quite a lot, which is unfortunate. So that was a bit of annoying. And then I went out again. We tried to get the toe as always, and I got a bit of time off my teammates' wing, but yeah, just not quick enough here. I was happy for a 29. I'm not really. I'm just here to help. To be honest with you, I think that's what it's about.
So in terms of the help, then, in terms of what Panic can do, because obviously he's in Q2, we're expecting to see him in Q3. He's got pace at the moment. He seems to enjoy this track. He might have a differing opinion, but he's certainly got some pace here today. Is there any way you can work with him to try and find some sort of strategic way forward in the race?
I'll try. I think the main gig is like just scoring points. You know, he's in a very, very good position. He feels pretty confident. There's some very, very quick guys in Division 4. So I'll do as much as I can. You know, the aim is P15. Last year I actually got done over here last year in my own race because I got disconnected and I didn't connect until lap 20. Last season. So yeah, Japan's not a fan favourite of mine, but yeah, like I said, I'll just try and score points, do my best, and yeah, well, hopefully see what happens. I'll be going for a different strategy on the tyres. So I'm just going to wait for people to make mistakes, which is easily done here, very easily done, especially the curbs.
That's right, that is the nature of Suzuka. Dido, some questions for SJ before we head over to talk to the Williams.
Yeah, obviously SJ mate reserving up tonight. Bit of a struggle, probably not the best track to reserve up on. Just in terms of the race, we were talking about it before with the overtaking here. I mean, it's a bit of a survival through turn 1, but how do you go? Where's your idea of where you're going to make up your positions? Because in my eyes, it's quite difficult here to sort of make up any ground, especially because it becomes a bit of a DOS train. So are you aiming just for P15, or do you feel like you can get a little bit further up?
Well, I did well last week in Brazil compared to Panic. He got involved in a few incidents. I had a really, really good showing last week. And I did pretty well in, obviously, the sprint in my own race in Brazil. So penalties was the key last week in Brazil, which I would have finished in a very good position. George knows me and him watched along together for Japan. It'll be more entertaining than the real Formula One, I can definitely tell you that. I think that there'll be mistakes. You know, the curbs here, they don't like you. You've got to be very, very careful. You know, Spoon is another section that can cause you a bit of problems. You know, Casio Triangle as well. There's a lot of places, and I think Sector 1 is probably where people are going to make mistakes, and especially the start of the race. You know, 20 cars or 19, however, is on track, all going into turn 1 is going to be, you know, a bit scary. And it's going to be, I reckon, distance. It's going to be about distance, you know, because you don't know how quick these guys are going to be going into Sector 1. They could be taking it quite cautious, which means that you need to be I'd say you need to be back a little bit, because if they break and you damage a wing here, you've got no chance. You've got no chance here. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait for the mistakes, to be honest with you. And P15, if I get P15, great, no problem. It's a point for McLaren. You know, I'm here to help. I'm not as quick as these guys. So, yeah, I'll capitalise on the mistakes and we'll go from there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, mate. Well,
over very quickly.
Yep, indeed. Good luck, SJ. Thanks very much for jumping into the commentary box. Good luck out there. And I hope you hate it slightly less after this race. Fingers crossed. All right, let's jump over to our Williams.
DM me on that.
Well, yeah, we'll do. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, SJ. Much appreciated. Let's have a chat to our Williams drivers. We've got Deadly Fella and Wogjet in the commentary box today. I think we're going to interview you guys simultaneously because it's a double DNF, unfortunately. Well, not a DNF, but it's a double disqualification, I should say, in Q1 for you guys. Wogjet, how was that? Was it the car just didn't come alive during that session?
Oh, how you going, mate? Listen, sorry, Dido. Probably the worst time for me to turn all my assists off, so I got no line at all now. Just wanted to give it, I had a little bit of practice before the lobby opened, probably like 5 or 10 minutes, getting a bit of a feel of it. First few practice laps, I guess, I went a bit wide off the track, exceeded track limits. Look, mate, I wasn't expecting to qualify first or anything like that. That last hot lap that I did in 3 seconds. So look, I'm just hoping for the race. I'm just gonna put my head down, mate, and try and bring the car back safely and bring the points home, mate. So yeah, pray for me.
Will do, yeah. Turning off assists on a track like this, very, very tricky. Dido mentioned exactly that. I don't think I would want to be doing that, so I think you deserve a round of applause for that at the very least. Deadly Fella, how about yourself? Qualifying didn't go quite as planned.
Nah, man, I'm with Esther on this one. Just track and go in the bin. As you said, it's all about rhythm in the first sector. I just had no rhythm at all. Strategy-wise, I'm just going to track on the hard, wait for some damage, flip on by, hope it's complete.
Yeah, makes sense. So you guys are starting obviously side by side here in this race. Is there a strategic gain to maybe be made here? You get to work together. You might be able to make those double overtakes work. You can certainly defend against anyone behind you. There's not too many behind you this time out, but you'll be able to work together. Is there a plan you've got in your mind for how that could play out in the race?
Whoever gets a better start, I reckon. Wogjet, if you get ahead, where you go, mate.
I think this could be the first time. This could be the first time we've had live strategic calculation happening in the commentary box.
Don't give away too much, Diddley.
Yeah, calm down, boys.
All right, Dino, I'll give it over to you for some final questions. We're 6 minutes to the end of Q2.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much to say. Wogjet obviously taking the line off tonight, mate. It's going to be a bit of a difficult one, but I guess come through covered it all. Just tonight, your strategy will probably just depend on what goes around you. Are we seeing any rain tonight, or is it looking like all dry?
I think it's dry.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, sweet. So, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't know it's going to be easy for you, mate, with no assist tonight, and obviously this track can bind hard. So hopefully we'll just work together, and yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we're talking to you both at the end.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
That'd be cool.
Thanks, mate.
Deadly, Wogjet, good luck in the race, guys, and hopefully we'll see you in a slightly different part of the race, either at the end of this one or next week. Good luck out there, chaps.
Well, thanks, boys.
Tito, you got pretty high hopes for us if you want to talk to us at the end.
He's an optimistic man. Don't crush his dreams.
Thanks, mate. See you, boys.
Cheers, guys. Awesome. So, yeah, no, fair enough. But we don't want to reveal too much about the Williams internal strategic discussions live on stream. I nearly got them to do it, but we'll continue with our efforts for the remaining 4 races of the season later on. We are 4 minutes and 30 seconds away from the end of Q2, and it currently looks like this. Master Suck is on top with 128.3, followed by Grizz, the Kick Sauber driver, full-time now at Kick Sauber in Division 4, 28.4. Then it's Sammy the Slammer in P3 with a 28.5. Ricciardo in 4th on the softs there. Stoyan and then Flubber, the Ferraris, line astern, 5th and 6th for them. There's a little bit of a gap there, 0.2 of a second between 4th and 5th, and another 0.2 of a second down to where Flubber is on a 29 flat, which we thought is going to be the cutoff area for getting into Q3. Yet to see the final runs, which will be coming up in the next minute and a half or so. Then it's 2 Asian for you, T. Salmons, Cooper the Bot. Unusual place to see him down in P9. Then Pep, Jenneth, and currently in the drop zone, it's Jenneth, Dynasty, Uncle Morty, Alamadi, and Panic, who's gone out there and done a 1:30.1. So very much off the pace at the moment. Still totally unpredictable, Dido. No idea what's going to happen here. Top 10 shootout's going to be wild. But I also feel like I might be the only one who actually really likes this circuit.
Yeah, it's getting that way at the moment. We've got a general idea that not many people are fan here until you Aston look like they are, and possibly Kick as well. But I wasn't expecting 28s this early, or like this many 28s. But I'm just wondering if we're going to see that 29.0 cutoff time actually be a bit lower, because the track looks like it's getting warm, and there's going to be a fair few guys coming out of the pits. A few guys coming out early. Cooper, Asif, Panic, Ricciardo, and Mars are all trying to beat the traffic, but then all the other guys will come out as well at the end. And both Mercedes now come too, so...
it's not going to be a cause for concern. These guys should get out on their hot laps and be able to get past the other drivers, no problem, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any issue there. I think we could just see a bit more of a shake-up than we're seeing right now. I think we haven't seen the full end of this Q2 with these times. We'll see a few more 28s before we finish this, and possibly a few upsets as we see a few teams down there. Panic Panic, we know, has more pace than that, but just because you do have more pace doesn't mean you're able to get a lap down. So Panic currently struggling. Both Mercs, RB of Asif and Uncle Morty all in there. Like you said, I'm a bit surprised to see Cooper in P9, but we know his pace is different to that. He's been up there in Q1.
Yeah, we just need to wait to see, because he's a bit of a one-lap wonder, that chap. You know, he'll get into a situation, then suddenly we're on board. He'll be the last car across the line, and suddenly he'll be P1, and we'll get about just a glimpse, the back of the eye at the actual final result before we go to the results screen. And suddenly he'll be on top. So that is unfortunately the nature of this sometimes. So Cooper apparently was on used tyres as well, so that might explain why he's slightly slower. Did just see Alamadi back out of a lap. He was good, but then through Degners, it just looked a little bit unsettled for him. He's one of those in the drop zone at the moment. P14 will need a much better time to get himself up towards that top spot, and that'll be, I think, some fairly rare occurrence to see. You know, the Racing Bulls get the really good times at the top, and we're missing one of their drivers today, of course, as well. Not ideal. Sorry, it's not Pep. Panic goes P6.
Yeah, P6, 28.9, so it's broken into the 28s. I think they'll be alright, but there's a lot of guys behind him, very quick guys behind him on laps. Cooper just crossed the line in P7 with 28.9.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah. He's about 6/10 off the pace right now, which is not something we're used to seeing. Maybe he's another one of those who just doesn't like this track, doesn't really feel at home at a circuit like this, and if that's the case, that always affects how you end up driving it. Just looking at the Mercedes at the moment, they're both currently in the drop zone, Pep and Dynasty. Pep is getting pulled along right now by Dynasty Sparrow, so a little bit of a slipstream effect for him will be in effect as they head through the exit of Spoon, through 130R towards the braking zone of Casio Triangle. A lovely bit of track here, he said quietly to himself. But yeah, Pep and Dynasty in the drop zone right now, and they need to get this lap in properly. Checkered flag for Grizz, checkered flag for Ricciardo, Master and Stoyn, both saying that's it, we're safe with a 28.8 below. That's a decent time for them, so I think they'll be safe. The key thing here is what time are these Mercedes going to put on the board? We're at the death now of Q2. What's it going to be? It's good enough for 5th for Dynasty and 1st place for Pep by 6/1000ths of a second. Those were the laps they needed, and they put the Red Bulls solidly in the drop zone.
Yeah, it was a really solid middle sector from Dynasty. Had actually a purple sector. Lost a little bit of time in the in the last sector, but really helped Pep get that extra couple of tenths there. Really close at the top. Very close between Master and Pep. But this is sort of looking like now Cooper could be in trouble. Flubber's yet to finish a lap. A lot of guys yet to finish laps, but we'll have to wait and see.
We've got both the Red Bulls coming through. T. Salmons is just going through 130R. Uncle Morty's about to come across the line. So what can Uncle Morty do? Then it'll be T. Salmons and Flubber. Uncle Morty, P11. He's out of this session for that. T. Salmons makes it in. Flubber makes it in. Oh, wow, that was a close one. Cooper the bot, he's got one person to worry about. It's 2Agent for you. And Cooper is knocked out of Q2.
Wow, big upset. Someone that we've seen up the pointy end at pretty much every weekend so far, but is down and out of Q2. But Asif, Jennifer, Uncle Morty, Salmons, and Cooper all joining Cooper in the elimination. They're very big upset there, but he was so close. Look how close it is between Panic and Cooper. And Panic would have felt like he was well and truly safe at the start of that session.
Yeah, but we were saying, 29 flats, but those are essentially 29 flats, 28.9s, 2 times there, and then Salmons as well, 28.996, 29.092 for Uncle Morty. So there's nothing in it in that drop zone, but 2Asian for you. I mean, talk about giant slaying. He has absolutely slayed some of the giants today.
Yeah, he's had some solid weekends. He's been a bit unlucky, but last weekend did well, and then tonight's doing really well as well. So, probably a bit happy, but I'm sure Cooper's not out of that session. We'll see if he jumps in the comps box, but this is going to be a very interesting top 10 shootout now. I cannot pick pole. We got both Mercs, both Astons through. Ferraris as well, so we might see some toes. Not really. I mean, the straight can help you for a bit of a toe, but we saw Pep get a toe from Dynasty the whole lap. It doesn't give you the sort of the same benefit as Baku and all the other tracks we've had lately.
Yeah, it's not quite as effective here. A lot of corners and a lot of issues with dirty air, especially when you go through the hairpin in towards Spoon. If you're following in that area, you're going to lose a lot of time just from the aero wash that you're experiencing. So it is a tricky one. You've got to get it absolutely spot on right. You've got to have done that calculation within your team and to figure out exactly what's going to be the optimum way to extract the time while working together. Only a few teams able to do that here. Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston. The rest of them are all on their own. Grizz on his own for Kick, 2Asian4U on his own for Alpine, Sammy the Slammer on his own for Haas. So those are your 3 drivers that will be not working with anyone else on the grid today. Oh, and Panic, of course, for McLaren. So those are the 4 drivers who won't be able to work with anyone else out on track, and they'll have to just go out and get a good time on merit. What are we thinking for what the slowest time? What's the P10 time here today? I get the feeling it's got to be a 28.8 or below.
Yeah, I think at most you might see a 28.9 be the cutoff, maybe barely if you're lucky, but I think we might even see a really low 28 or maybe even a 27 up the top. I don't know. These guys are getting really quick here.
Yep, they certainly are. So let us know in chat, who do you think is going to get on pole? I don't think we've got an admin in chat to put a prediction up for us, but let us know in chat. Type in who you think is going to get pole position. And also, while you're at it, let us know if you like Suzuka. So tell us if you like Suzuka, and if you do, give us a yes, and then give us your prediction for who's going to end up on pole position today. First one out there, Sammy the Slammer. Always seems to be early out of the pit box. Haas seems to be quite far up the pit box, near the pit exit. Lucky for them. So he will be the first one on a hot lap, and then it'll be the 2 Ferraris just in behind them. We'll see exactly what happens. Just a little bit of housekeeping as well while we're at it. We don't have anyone in the comms box just yet, but big thanks to our sponsors, AI369, Pagnian, SimLabs, and S Nation. Thank you all for sponsoring Rush Racing League. It is Season 8, Round 16. We're in the commentary box with George Cook, and it's Dido. Great to be here once again, bringing you the action, and looking forward to a 50% race today. And you can also redeem your channel points if you want a full onboard lap with any of the drivers. Redeem those channel points and let us know who the driver is you want us to go on board with. You get a full onboard lap with the driver of your choice. And I believe there's still a 65,000 point channel redemption for picking the track in Season 9 available. So, yeah, go and do that if you've got enough money.
I think we just maxed out on tracks. I think that's all well and truly done now. But yeah, I think plenty of other options you can do. Obviously, Whiff has just redeemed an onboard with Grizz. So there you go. Your words are delivered.
There we go. Well, what we'll do is we'll let him do his out lap, and we'll go on board for the full hot lap for Grizz. So once he gets around the track, we shall see. In the meantime, it is Sammy the Slammer with a 28.5, first one across the line. Then it'll be Stoin. Stoin stays out. Flubber comes in. It's a 31.6 for Stoin, so that's not a good lap. 2Asian4U comes across the line, so decent for him. And now the 2 Aston Martins. Ricciardo to top with a 27.8.
Wow,
Thank you very much. We'll take that and go with it. Let's go do on the onboard. Here we go. Full lap with Grizz, but what a time from Ricciardo.
Yeah, that is like I was not expecting a 27 that early. Maybe in the last run, but that's very quick for Ricciardo. But anyway, Grizz now hits the inside curb there and really pulls the car to the inside. They'll lose a couple of tenths, but nothing too serious. He looks like he's not overly comfortable in that first sector. Really pushing there. We'll see what he does here. Very easy to invalidate through here. Hard on the brakes, pushing and using all the track. It's very easy to run off and hit the gravel. And then daunting hairpin, or very easy to lock up, as he did. A little lock up. Bit of traffic ahead. Might be able to get a bit of a tow here if some of these guys aren't on runs. Now we got the double left-hander here. Another easy place to invalidate. As he goes very, very close to there. Or camera angle might have just made it look worse, but pushing here, Grizz, he hasn't obviously set a lap here, being competitive so far. 2 cars ahead of him, that's going to really help him. It's a 111.49 in that middle sector, which is on par with the top 2 point. Sort of that. I don't know if it's Ricciardo's pace, but it's definitely sort of Master Stoin. So what he does here, crosses the line, goes P3, 28.2. Very solid.
Not too bad, but I have to admit that run through Spoon was awkward. That first part, he was definitely too slow at the apex. Got back onto the accelerator for too long, and then completely missed the second part of Spoon. So I reckon he's probably lost a couple of tenths of a second there. Feel like Grizz could be one of those on for the 27s today.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot more pace than that. And who knows, he may even have been on used tires. We don't know, but I doubt it. That's a very quick time. 28.2 is super close to Master. But no one able to break it to the 27s apart from Ricciardo. The only one yet to set a time is Flubber. He'll cross the line soon to start a lap. But yeah, what's your thoughts, mate, on who will get possibly pole here? I mean, Merck look like they might have a bit more in the store, but
I mean,
like,
without Cooper here, my money's going on Ricciardo.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my money's going to go. Where are you putting your money?
Yeah, it's a really safe bet to go with Ricciardo.
It's kind of the obvious one.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go with Ricciardo at this point. Don't see anyone sort of competing with him. Maybe Flubber. We'll see what Flubber can do. He's on a lap, but if anyone else can get into the 27s, we might be laughing. But at the moment, he's the only one really, and very comfortable too. It's not just in the 27 to 27.8, so it's a very quick time. Flubber though, not showing probably his dominant as pace as he has in the last few weeks, but still having that top 3 contention. See if he can break into the 27s. Goes down to second there and then back up to third quite early to get the traction down. He's the only one on track currently. He might even dive into the pits after this just to be able to get back out in time, but I'm not sure.
We'll see. It's so tricky. I mean, that is a big gap. Ricciardo's just done an unbelievable lap there. I mean, that is incredible pace from that man. So, yeah, at this point, it's going to be hard to see who's going to match it. We've got a couple of times for Mercedes that are a little bit uncharacteristic for them. They'll have one more shot at this in a few moments' time. Of course, Dynasty and Pep, P8, P9, not going to be good. And they're looking up the top of the grid and seeing Ricciardo and Master right at the bleeding edge of the grid at the moment, and that's not good for their championship hopes in either the Drivers' Championship or the Constructors' Championship. Also, welcome into chat to Wannabe, asking if we are on Discord. We are on Discord, of course. The link has been popped in there for you, so feel free to jump in. There is a whole bunch of awesome programs going on. We've got the Academy series, where you can get a little bit of a taste of what Rush Racing League is all about. And then, of course, there is a ton of good stuff that happens across our 6 divisions of racing all throughout the year. Season 9 coming up once we are feeling comfortable with F1 25, which releases at the end of May. So we're not too far away from that. And if you get the extra DLC, I'm plugging here for EA. This is really bad. But if you get the DLC, you get to play the game 3 days early. So for those of you who want to do that, you can go and do that. Either way, yeah, bit of a scruffy lap there from Flubber, but he's in the 28.6s now. Only car out on track. Everyone waiting. Probably about 10 seconds or so until the last bit of qualifying 3 session does kind of kick off. We've got Ricciardo out there as well on his outlap, so he wants a little bit of clean air. Don't think he's really in any trouble at the moment, but you never really know. That's the problem.
No, you don't. I mean, there's no sort of sorry, just looking at what Ricciardo was doing there. There's no sort of loss here. Obviously, the only sort of last position you can start is P10, but these boys all want to get further up. And the issue is now, see everyone diving out of the pits. It's going to create a bit of a problem for possibly Flubber. No, Flubber's dived in. I don't think Flubber will have a chance to go back out, but that might create a problem for Ricciardo here because he's got a lot of traffic now in front of him. Could actually come into his benefit and get a bit of a tow here, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. People leaving it to the last minute. We've also got both Mercedes actually still in the pit, so I don't even know if they're going to be able to get around.
Yeah, it comes up pretty quickly, doesn't it? I mean, we've got 27, 26 seconds now. They've got to be out of the pits. Dynasty comes out of the pits. I'm sure Pep will be out in a moment's time as well. Yes, I think that is Pep. So both of them out on the outlap now. They are leaving it to the absolute last second. And I don't think they're working together either. Stoyan's currently in the pits. He's coming out. That is going to be really, really close. We shall see. Dido, if you just check the chat message in our commentary box, I've just posted something in there for you, mate. But we shall see. So on board at the moment with Stoyan. He's on his outlap. Ricciardo's on his flyer, coming through this lovely hairpin. Does seem to be on a pretty decent lap so far. Let's keep an eye on this. He'll be the first one to finish across the line. We'll get time for another lap by the looks of it, if he wants it. Although that ERS deployment, I don't think he'll have nearly enough for a second lap after this. So this is it. This is his final shot at qualifying. Gets a little bit of a slipstream, a whiff of slipstream from Master. Boy, oh boy, that's close out on track. They are leaving that to the absolute last millisecond for them to get out of the way. Maybe even a bit of a miscommunication there. Through 130R, the sweeping left-hander into the braking zone for Casio Triangle. Ricciardo is going for it. Smooth run through the Casio Triangle. Down the hill we go and across the line. Will it be an improvement? I don't think it will be. It's not. Ricciardo's time stands, and he's there now to give the slipstream to Master.
Yeah, so see if what Master can do. It was actually 2 tenths slower for Ricciardo there. Master might be able to do something here. Doesn't probably want to beat his teammate, but I mean, he probably does. Ricciardo probably doesn't want it to. But you guys still could contend for pole here. Grizz on a lap. Flubber looks like he might be still trying to do a lap. He's on an
He's
outlap.
invalidated, so
Yeah.
he's not going to make it to the line. So Flubber is not going to have another chance at qualifying. Stoyan has just come across the line, so he will get one more chance here. Sammy the Slammer coming through the hairpin at the moment. Who's going to be next out on track? It will actually be Grizz. So Grizz is the next one. And we said before, Dido, that he's got potential pace. Let's see if he can actually convert this into a better grid position.
Yeah, at the moment he'll jump Master in that middle sector. He was, 1 tenth quicker, but actually gone fastest in the middle sector now, sorry. But I don't know if it's enough for Ricciardo. That'll be close. I think he'll break into the 27s here. See what he does. He'll cross the line here. It'll be a quick time.
Oh,
P2.
It's close. You were absolutely right. It's in the 27s, but it's not quick enough. Panic across the line as well. He had a moment into Casio Triangle. We saw in the cameras just behind Grizz. And now it's the Aston Martin of Master. What can he do across the line? Stays P4 at this stage. Now our eyes are cast to the Mercedes. There is a Sector 3 yellow. It looks like Dynasty has invalidated his lap. And so Pep across the line. It's still valid. Will it be good enough to put him up the grid? It's good enough for P4. So good stuff there from the Mercedes driver, Pep. That's what he needed. He needed to be within eye shot of Ricciardo at the start of this race to have any hope of getting the better of his arch nemesis in Division 4's Drivers' Championship. And that is the position he needs to be in, at least to give a chance today of getting through the race and beating his opponent. But Dynasty Sparrow, there was an invalidation there, so he will start P10. That's unfortunately not going to be the most ideal position for him to start. Apparently, Dynasty cut the track through sectors 1 and 2, and that's why it was invalid. So this is the grid. It'll line up with Ricciardo on pole, followed by Grizz, then Sammy the Slammer. Great lap by him, nearly into the 27s as well. Then it's Pep, Master, 2 Asian for you, Stoyan, Flubber, Panic, and Dynasty Sparrow. Dido, predictions for the race, mate?
Oh, I mean, you couldn't ignore Ricciardo, possibly Grizz too, but look how close it is between P1 and P2 there. You barely sneeze at that. I mean, very close at the top. But I think we'll be looking at possibly Cooper, maybe even Dynasty, sort of guys like that, sort of try and chop through the field here. There's a lot of guys down the back that aren't usually down the back, so we'll have to wait and see. Very nice and sunny for the race, as everyone will be adjusting their setups now, getting their strategy. I think we'll see probably just a strategy be normal, medium, hard. I don't think we'll see anyone on the softs unless we get sort of a late safety car of some sort. But
yeah, or someone's going for the fastest lap or something like that. Yeah, you're right. So the optimal strategy here is probably start on the mediums. Track position is everything. You don't want to be on the slower tire at the start.
No, not unless you're sort of godly. I mean, Ricciardo could probably hold his own on the hard tire, and it would benefit towards the end. But that's only if you don't get an early safety car of some sort. It's best just to probably chuck on the mediums here. There is a high likely chance that we will have a safety car in the opening 10 laps of some sort. I think pretty high on percentages here at Japan. But we'll have to wait and see as they about to go green.
Here we go. The lights are
Take us
on.
there,
It's
mate.
3 lights and 4 lights, 5 lights. It's going to be a good race start. Let's see how we go. And away we go for round 16 at the Japanese Grand Prix. Ricciardo on a good start. Grizz is challenging early on. Sammy the Slammer's trying around the outside of turn 1. Is he actually going to make that stick? Yes, he is. Sammy the Slammer takes P2 early on in this race. Masters lost the position to Pep. No, actually, Pep started P4. He continues to hold on to P4. Some other maneuvers around the grid. Let's get the intervals and everything up and get this all going. But tell you what, Sammy the Slammer, great stuff. Slow through Dunlop though. Grizz is going to attack back. Here we go. Is there contact between the two? Oh, it's so close for 2, 3, and 4 positions.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos out the back. And Aston actually going into the sand trap, and we've got yellows everywhere here. Who's that? That's
Oh dear,
SJ.
yeah, we've got.
Deadly Fuller.
It is SJ and Deadly Fuller. They've
And
had
that's
a massive
Michael.
accident, and that is T. Salmons as well. So huge accident there, and there is a lot of missing end plates. There is a lot of stuff happening on the track through Degna 2. Virtual safety car has been deployed, and that is good news for Sammy the Slammer, who gets to secure that P2 position for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only one driver starting on the soft. That is SJ. Not probably the start he'd like with the soft tyre, but he hasn't fallen too far off the back. He'll be able to hold his DRS with that tyre. But yeah, interesting start, mate. I didn't really see what caused that incident down the back, but it looked like a bit of a chaotic one. There was an Aston, I think that was Master actually going a bit off into the gravel. It's 2 Asian is actually pitting. He's going to pit early, very early.
2
Yeah,
people pitting.
Devin.
We've got Uncle Morty as well. Would be
Summons
sup-
10 seconds. Five Fred Bull's
Ah.
just 10 seconds.
Yep, so T. Salmons, that's just added insult to injury there for him. He's in the pits. Deadly Fella in the pits. Uncle Morty in the pits. 2 Asian Fuse in the pits. Do wonder if Z Governor is going to come into the pits as well. We are racing again. Green flag is back out on track, and Sammy the Slammer, I should say, continues his defense of P2, and this is giving Ricciardo such a good start in this race. Grizz all over his rear wing. Through Degna 1 and 2 we go. This is where the accident was a lap ago that brought out the virtual safety car. Don't go 2x2 there. You can't do it. This is not Noah's Ark. This is line astern. You're lining up to get to the bank teller. That is what you've got to do through this part of the track, and this is why the overtaking can be so difficult. Stoyn is going for a move as well. Let's see if he's able to make that stick on Master. It's a big DRS train that's forming from P2 down to P7.
Yeah, Stoyn actually went a bit too much on the brakes there and lost his end plate in the back of the Aston, and now that's really hurting him. He's under all sorts of pressure under a charging Cooper the Bot, who's up to P7 now. Someone to watch.
There was a prediction in chat saying watch the upcoming Cooper the Bot masterclass. Well, he's already up a couple of positions, challenging now the Ferrari in P6. So he's on a charge at the moment. Panic has lost a few positions in this already. Flubber in P9, then it's Dynasty Sparrow in P10. And the fastest laps start to come in. Not the fastest laps we've seen, of course, all weekend. Cooper the Bot, he wants to make a move. Can he hold it around the outside? No, the Ferrari's got big enough legs to hold it into turn 1 and retain the P6 position.
Yeah, just on that too. Grizz up into P2 on Sammy. And those guys have actually reeled in a little bit of that gap. They're actually clipped into the DRS now of Ricciardo. So Ricciardo hasn't managed to break away as far as he probably have liked, but this is still really going into his favour with these guys battling. Grizzo looks like he's got some serious pace. He's broken 6/10 away from Sammy. Now Pep looks like he might want to get the move done on Sammy as well. So Sammy may have had the quali pace, maybe not a race set up, but here he's looking like he's struggling, and these guys looking like either going to start eating him up. And then Stoyn really looking like he might want to pit soon, come through with that end plate. It seems this is not the track to have running damage.
Oh, it is not. Suzuka is all about the aero. Think about turn 1, you get damage down there. Or as Duhan demonstrated in the recent Japanese Grand Prix, if you keep your DRS open, if you don't have enough downforce at that part of the circuit, you will fly off into the barrier. So that downforce is going to be hurting him all the way through here. It'll hurt him in 130i, it'll hurt him in Spoon, it'll hurt him through the S's, it'll hurt him in turn 1. I think 90% of the track is so aero dependent here. Not many low speed corners for them to take advantage of. No pit stop for Stoyn at this time. Fastest lap now goes to Grizz. Grizz is catching up at a rate of knots. He's actually bringing Sammy the Slammer with him.
Yeah, Grizz has some serious race pace. Now looking like he might even be lining up a move on Ricciardo in the next sort of 2 or 3 laps. As Masters left the session, so I'll try and get him in as quick as possible.
That would be
It's easy to
fantastic,
go,
yeah.
you
So
can
he's
probably
in
get-
P5 at the moment, so hopefully we can get him back in ASAP, because that is a position that he will want to retain throughout this race for Aston Martin. And we've also got a ban. No, who's that? Josie saying something in chat as well, Dido. I'll leave that one for you to check out. Cooper the Bot has made his way now past the Ferrari, and Panic has decided to go through too. So 2 for the price of 1 there. Actually in the reverse direction for Stoyn. So he's dropped a couple of positions early on through that sector 1. Now in sector 2. Dynasty Sparrow looking to attack as well. And once you're off the racing line at Suzuka, that is really, really it. At the end of the day, you will lose more and more positions as you go on through. Wow, Dynasty nearly goes into the rear of Stoyn. Stoyn taking the wider line through Spoon. Dynasty opting for the slightly shallower line into Spoon. And that nearly causes them to come together there side by side. But that overspeed for the Stoyn and the Ferrari looking very, very good. So likely running quite a low downforce setup. That will mean, of course, that he's going to pull away on the straight, but will be struggling in the corners, exactly what we saw just before. Now Cooper the Bot attacking Master. So this is truly the battle of the ages here. We've got moves at the top as well. Ricciardo has lost the lead of the race, and Grizz is now in P1.
Oh, wow. Big racing here, mate. I'm just trying to get Master back in, but he doesn't seem to be on the line.
Okay,
For me, anyway.
we will wait for that to come on through. Sammy the Slammer in P3 now. So that is a big, big situation switch at the top. Grizz has shown some incredible race pace so far. And now he finds himself in the lead of this race. And Kick Sauber, once again, the bright green at the top, slightly eclipsing the green British racing green. So we shall see. Lots of green on the track. Sammy the Slammer wide at Degnan 2. Through goes Pep for P3. And there's a huge battle in behind. Cooper has managed to get away from the scrap. Then it's Master, Panic, Stoyn, Dynasty, and Alamadi, all in a massive battle. Stoyn nearly goes and locks up into the back of the McLaren. Crikey, this is the battle pack.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's getting really feisty up the top here. These guys just need to just calm down a little bit, but there's some penalties rolling, and 2 Kiwi and Morty got obviously still at those penalties. I have some Master invite, I think, even though he's offline, but he could just re-add me. That would be see if I can work, but says he's training all the McLaren. That's Panic and Master going side by side. I think Master actually still AI, but Panic really desperate to get past there. And this is causing chaos, obviously, as it always does when AI is in control of a car. It can really call Flubber getting sideways out of the chicane there, but Stoyn's pinning, so that's early as well. Lap 4, he's had enough of that wing. Calling it.
And Master is now back into the race, luckily, and makes an immediate overtake on the McLaren ahead of him. So that's worked out well for Master. He's only lost 1 position as a result of that, and now we'll lead this battle pack. And no doubt Panic was keen to kind of get away from all this. He won't be in control for a little bit, but it was a nice move from the AI. So well done, AI. We have to take a hats off to him, because he got the move done very nicely up the inside of turn 1. And now Panic will have to go again under the pressure of having Dynasty Sparrow just behind him. Grizz now nearly out of slipstream range of Ricciardo, but they're both 2 seconds clear of Pep. And Sammy the Slammer, we don't believe he's got any damage on the car, so hopefully that answers your question. At the moment, he is all good to go, and Cooper is starting to charge after the top 4 now.
Yeah, this is that AI with Masters really hurting these guys' race, as they're starting to fall further and further back. 4 seconds now to that lead pack. Talking about gaps, Grizz is almost out of DRS of Ricciardo, which is massive. Up the top.
The top
So
indeed,
that's-
yeah. But it's come down a bit, actually. I wonder if Grizz has gone a bit too hard on this lap. He's certainly lost a bit of time. Gets a good exit out of Casio Triangle, though, so yeah.
Oh no.
Can't take control, yeah. So he may need to restart his game again, the whole game, as we see Sammy the Slammer making a move. Goes up into P3. And there we go. Move done very cleanly into turn 1. That is textbook stuff. And Sammy the Slammer converting his good qualifying pace into good race pace today. He's managed to do that very, very successfully over the last 5 or 6 races in this season. He's just been getting better and better, faster and faster, more confidence in that Haas every time we see him out there. And he's confident in his ability to get through the race as well, so his strategy starting to really come together. And he's becoming a very rounded driver indeed. It's one that I think we should all keep a very close eye on as we head into Season 9 and, of course, the remainder of Season 8. Master leading the session yet again. Into the pits is Stoyne. He's still in the pits, or is he coming out? He's actually is coming out at long last. Deadly Fuller will retake P16, and Z Governor has come into the pits as well, changed his soft tyres for hard tyres. He was the only one to start on the softs at the beginning of the race. Note here on the Racing Bulls, up in a P9, done well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They're doing really well. Asif looking like he could score some big points here, but Stoyne, I think, has pitted twice, and now he's put on back of the mediums. So that's interesting. He'll probably have to pit again. I don't think the mediums will get to the end. And Deadly Fuller also doing the same on the mediums, 2A also, and Salmons. So interesting strategies start this race. Hoping for a safety car, I'd say. And their chances are probably high. We've already had a virtual. Could see a full. Battle's now getting very close between Dynasty and Paddock, as Dynasty gets the job done into turn 1, no issues. And now it's a bit of a waiting game for everyone to sort of calm down before their pit stops start commencing. And yeah.
Yes, everyone just needs to have a little think. Oh, yeah, that's what the strategy was. Okay, listen to your engineer. Keep it nice and cool. All the frantic stuff at the beginning of the race is over now. We're now 8 laps into a 27-lap race today. Grizz in the lead, followed by Ricciardo, still separated by less than a second. So Ricciardo doing well to hang on to Grizz at the moment. Then it's Pep, Sammy, Cooper, Dynasty, Paddock are on board with this battle at the moment. And then Flubber, Alamadi in P9, Master in P10. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin and get access to his car as soon as possible. Asking for another invite for Master. So Dida, I'm sure you'll be sorting that out in the background. Yep. The strategy suggested here today with these start on the mediums, go to hards, or 2 medium stops and a hard stop. So that is the suggestion. We've got a Sector 2 caution, a car very much off track. Who is that? It is Jenneth. Jenneth has had a bit of an issue coming into Spoon, but doesn't look too worse for wear, just lost a few positions out of it. So not quite sure what's happened. We're green flag racing yet again, and Ricciardo is now going for the move. Can he make it happen? Oh, nearly into the back of Grizz there. Might have been a bit of netcode, but Ricciardo retakes the lead of this race after holding on beautifully for a number of laps behind the Kick Sauber.
Yeah, Grizz just sits back behind. He's got a lot of battery too, so it doesn't look like he's struggling though, but Paddock and Dynasty still going toe-to-toe. They have Paddock got 14% battery opposed to Dynasty's 50%, so Dynasty looking like he might want to sort of get the job done soon. They've lost a lot of time though with Masters AI. They've lost almost have lost 4 seconds to the top 4. So not happy, I'm sure, some of them, but they will have to just get on with it and hope for a safety car of some sort. Maybe even an undercut here, but strategy, I can't pick it. There's a lot of guys on weird strategies tonight.
Yes.
Very interesting ones.
Definitely is. We'll do the gap to the leader. There we go. Being asked in chat. There we go. Gap to the leader now on the shot on the screen. 36 points is the difference between Aston Martin and Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship for Division 4. So it's not ideal that Masters in P10 with 2 Mercedes up there in the top 10. But this is still be a good round for Aston Martin, even if they get P2 with Ricciardo. It'll still be a good round for them. Now, that's a bad run through Casio Triangle for both of them, actually. Worse for Grizz, so maybe losing the opportunity here to make that overtake back. In the background, you can see Pep is being brought into it. No, Grizz has got the overspeed. There he goes into turn 1, and it is, once again, a bright green and a darker green coloured car, switching positions every single time we go into turn 1. Deja vu, Dido? Deja vu? You know, seeing a black cat on the staircase sort of thing happening here? Are we in the Matrix?
Yeah, we see it a lot, mate, in these two, but obviously these two green versus green, lime green versus dark green, I guess you could say. Aston versus Kick in the last few rounds has intensified, and now that Grizz has walked on the scene, it's Masters joined, so hopefully he can take control.
Oh, big lock up for Grizz as they head through the hairpin. nearly have Ricciardo going into the back of him, was able to pull it up just in time. Boy, oh boy, that's scary.
Yeah, it's very easy to get.
At least Ricciardo can see exactly where that fluoro green car is ahead of him.
Yeah, they're hard to miss, those things. They're very easy to lose an end plate through there. As we saw, that's why Stein lost his end plate. Currently going P17, not having the race he would like. Not having the race we're used to seeing him having. Flubber is almost going to probably line up Panic, but I'm not sure if Panic's going to line up Dynasty before that. And they need to be
into the pits.
Need to be go Ricciardo and Pip.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a 10-lap medium stint there for our former race leader. In goes Panic, in goes Flubber as well. So that means, that's Pep going in. Ricciardo's going in. Everyone's going in. Well, not everyone. We've got now Dynasty Sparrow, Alamadi staying out, about 10 or 12 seconds off the leaders at the moment. And a number of pit stops onto the hard tyres for the remainder of the race, I would imagine.
Yeah, they definitely be pushing to the end, trying to get a little bit of an undercut on the guys around them. The top 6 still haven't pitted. But a few guys making up a few positions with pitting early. Wogjet, 10-lap old halves is our P8, but not sure if he'll get to the end on those.
We shall see. Apparently Master is back in the session. That is great news for the Aston Martin team and for everyone on track, because they don't have to deal with an AI anymore. So that is fantastic. And we've got Ricciardo, who's just pitted out behind Master, who nearly goes into the back of the Haas. Flying Kiwi is sitting there at the moment. He's got a penalty to his name, so he's not fighting really for position, but Master does need to make that overtake as soon as possible, and or let his teammate go as soon as possible so that he can get some clean air, get Ricciardo back into the position where the undercut could work, because that is clearly what he's going for on Grizz. Wants the undercut and wants to pull a gap, but with 2 cars ahead of him, that is actually backfiring at the moment.
Yeah, you never want that. Master pulls out of the way, lets Ricciardo gets the job done, but Master will probably pick now, try and limit the damage that we've seen, obviously, with the disconnect, and Ricciardo gets the job done almost on Kiwi, who ate him up pretty quick on those fresh tyres. Master dives in the pits, and pretty much everyone else in the top 6 does, apart from Kiwi.
Oh, here we go. Grizz is going to retain the lead. Yes, the time sitting behind those other cars has cost Ricciardo the race lead, and any kind of advantage. He's now 1 lap older, hard tyres on his car. He's right there, nearly got around the outside of turn 1, but Ricciardo, it hasn't worked out from his teammate, and Flying Kiwi held him up for just long enough that he couldn't retain the race lead. That is unfortunately a little bit of a strategy backfire there for him.
Yeah, he'll have to get past now on track, which we know how hard that can be. Still though, I mean, in that DRS, it's not the end of the world. We'll see what happens here. Grizz has to hold off until his tyres can warm up. We know how hard the hards are to get up to temperature. And Cooper battling in the middle pack now, P6. Gets past Jadif and Semi. No issues there. He's on the fresh tyre. Cooper looking like serious pace tonight. Come from a long way up the grid.
And he's only 5 seconds off the lead at the moment, so a couple of good overtakes here. He'll get Wogjet relatively easily. Wogjet has yet to pit in this race. Will he be doing it at 130R? Don't do it, Fernando Alonso. Oh, they're side by side through 130R. How have they gone through that? Semi the slammer. Beautiful move on Jenner to take that, but he's gone into the back of Cooper the bot. That is going to be damage on his car. He's lost a front end plate.
Yeah, Sammy. Yeah, I really overcooked that. That's really unfortunate for Sammy having to pit.
Oh no, it's gone from bad to worse. Sammy, who is on for potentially a podium position finish today, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's not worth it, chaps. How many times do we have to say it?
He's just retired too. He's had enough. Drama on lap 13 out of 27 as this race starts to get spicy now, especially in this middle pack. A lot of guys now out of DRS of each other. Penalties creeping in.
Creeping in, more like being punched in the face at the moment, seems to be. Crikey, not quite as bad as some of the former rounds. I mean, I think we we had more cars with penalties than without at Red Bull Ring and at COTA and several other tracks throughout the season. So certainly hasn't been the worst offending today so far. We're only just coming up to half race distance. We do have a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is a stopped car. Now, that is just the ghost of Sammy the Slammer out on track. He is now reset out of this race. So really unfortunate for the Haas driver there today, but a little bit self-inflicted, unfortunately. Made a beautiful overtake side by side with the Alpine of Geneth in 130R. Really beautiful stuff, but then just goes straight into the back of Cooper the Bot. And then a 10-second penalty for entering the pit lane too fast. Just gone absolutely disastrously. So we'll just very quickly show the penalties. 10 seconds for Panic, 10 seconds for Uncle Morty, and 3 seconds for Flying Kiwi as it stands right now. And looking quickly at the positions gained, you can see Wogjet is the most gained, but he is yet to come into the pits. Cooper the Bot is probably the big winner here out of all of this, Dido.
Yeah, Cooper's on an absolute charge. Wogjet has pitted. Did start on the mediums, but he, I don't know if he'll get to the end on that tyre. But so it's seriously long stint, 13 laps if he gets all the way to the end. But Cooper looking like could go to a podium from all the way. I think he started where did he start? P13
P9.
or something? P9. No, he was out of Q3.
Oh, no, you're right. He was out of Q3. I don't think it was 13, but it was definitely either 11th or 12th, yeah.
Yeah, so good charge up the field from him, but it's definitely a long way to go in this race. A safety car could really change things up too, as we see the race sort of spread out a bit. A lot of guys out of DRS of each other. Flubber, though, on Dynasty, probably one of the closest battles, and I think he might actually line up a pass here as Dynasty's lost the DRS in front. This be easy work for Flubber.
Oh, here we go. It's pretty easy pickings there for Flubber. Goes around the outside and into 130R. They're all single file. Panic is there to pick up whatever remains from this battle. No counter move there from Dynasty, and he's on slightly fresher tyres as well. So whether he's not got the tyres quite into the range that he needs to, or he's just playing the patient game. You do have to be very patient at a circuit like this, and that is why, because you always get another chance down the main straight. Will it be 2 for 1? Yes, Panic's going to go through too. So actually being first in a line of 3 cars. Whoa! Is that nearly contact? No, there's side-by-side racing. Don't be third. Be in third position if you want to, coming out of Casio Triangle. Just don't be first in a line of 3 cars, because the double slipstream, not fun to deal with. But Flubber's defended that beautifully.
Yeah, he has. Panic ran out of road there and just has to stick behind and try again. And it will be Flubber's turn next lap, with obviously Dynasty losing that DRS again. But as far as this race goes, I think it's between Grizz and Ricciardo for the win. I don't think Pep or Cooper will be able to sort of reel that gap in unless we get a safety car. But these guys, the top 2, have not split a gap more than a second pretty much this whole race. And I mean, can't pick who's going to win this one. I mean, unless we see some drama, I think it's either. I think Ricciardo. Oh, geez, Ricciardo goes for him. I think Ricciardo has this. I think he just waiting there. He's got a lot of battery. Comfortable, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's not deploying the battery too much. Doesn't want to be in first place on this lap in particular. Just wants to keep on the back of the car in front. Grizz done fantastic work, of course, coming into this Grand Prix. Full-time drive now for Kick Sauber. And he is really thrown, he is well and truly the cat thrown amongst the pigeons at the moment. Putting it to our leaders immediately, but it's a pretty equal battle between these two. I mean, Ricciardo has been showing the pace. He's showing it at the moment. They're separated by absolutely nothing, but as long as they don't back themselves up too much, I think you're right. They're kind of out of earshot there for 3rd and 4th place to get up and get involved into this battle.
Yeah, I think it's a lonely road for Pep and Cooper at this stage, and they'll just be praying for some sort of drama, but the battle's still in that middle pack between Flubber, Dynasty and Panic. Dynasty and Wogjet are obviously now exchanging positions. Wogjet trying to hold on those 15 lap tyres. They must be in all sorts of pain here.
Yeah, I think he was one of the drivers to start on the hard tyres, tried to run long in this race. We've got a Sector 2 caution. That is a Red Bull in trouble. No, it's a Racing Bull in trouble. What's happened there? Looks like there's been a bit of argy-bargy between the two, but nothing of note. But yeah, Wogjet's going to get eaten up by this battle pack. Oh dear, here goes Flubber. Side by side, trying the best Fernando Alonso impression he can do. Gets the move done. Has he outbraked himself? Yes, he has. Wow, that was close. He loses the position nearly. Wogjet gets squiggly on the exit. Through goes the McLaren. What on earth?
Yeah, a bit of drama there. Actually, Flubber getting a free second. And that was really lucky that Wogjet gained control of the car there. They almost lost it in front of Panic. Could have been lights out for those two there. But Flubber now has really had his race with that penalty. It's gonna pretty much drop him. It will be the battle between him and Panic. He will drop a position to Wogjet at this stage. So,
yeah, so it was the cut through 130R that has given that penalty to Flubber. He tried round the outside, did his best Fernando Alonso impression he could do, but his Spanish accent wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah, it's a hard spot to get the move done. Requires a lot of commitment from both drivers.
And it's a hard spot to do a good Fernando Alonso impression, turns out. The Spanish accent, very tricky to get absolutely right. But nonetheless, I mean, it was a bold move, let's be honest. I was absolutely stoked. I'm stoked that we've seen a couple of moves around 130R. It takes such bravery and trust in the other driver as well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's what I was hoping to sort of make. Oh, we got more moves in there. Dynasty and Paddock again exchanging a bit of toe-to-toe, but no moves there yet. Oh, yellows. What's that? That's a Red Bull of Morty's. Lost it there.
Oh, he has indeed. Oh, he's lost it big time. We just missed the end of that on camera. Is he missing some of his front wing? No, he's not. But certainly he's gone for a bit of a spinneroo through the S's. The S's acting in a three-dimensional manner, turning into a bit of a tornado, and 360 degrees goes Uncle Morty and loses a couple of positions. His teammate now up into P16. Z Governor has made a move by de facto move through the pit lane as Wogjet comes in for his pit stop. So he'll be out on fresh medium tyres for the remainder of this race. Got Stoyne and SJ just ahead of him by not too much on track. So if he can just claw his way on those fresh tyres into the slipstream of Stoyne, he will have a shot to maybe throw himself back towards the top 10. We'll keep an eye on that one as we head through the remainder of this. But it is the battle for P6, 5 and 7 that is the one that we are that is lighting up our screens at the moment with constant driver changes. It will be a bit of a moot point though for Panic in the McLaren because that 10-second penalty is looming over him. Flubbers as well. So right now, to be completely honest with you, Dynasty's kind of off the hook, just needs to not get a penalty himself.
Yeah, he just needs to keep it on the straight stuff. But I was actually a bit surprised that we didn't see as many track limit penalties as we've seen. It's a very difficult track for to keep it in the lines, but those 10 seconds they are the worst sort of penalty to have, and they would be praying for a safety car to be able to serve that. But it doesn't look like we're going to get one at this stage. I mean, everyone's sort of capped out safe at the moment. There's a few battles though, and it's still in the medal.
A few housekeeping items once again. Remember, you can redeem channel points to do an onboard with a driver of your choice. Let us know in chat who you think is going to be the person on top. Will it be Grizz? Will it be Ricciardo? Will Pet or Cooper have a chance? We've got a Sector 2 yellow yet again. I think that's just a car moving out of the way for the leaders.
Yeah. Just Morty in the Red Bull. Unfortunate race for him. Struggling. Just getting out of the way. Nice and good there for the leaders. No issues there. Grizz and Ricciardo are still battling out. But eyes on Paddock and Dynasty and Flubber at the moment, I guess. I think that's still our closest battle. A few guys starting to make some time up down the back on some fresh tyres. SJ, a lot higher than where he was hoping to be in P11. So there's a few guys having some good races to their own standards.
Yeah, and it depends on how many pit stops will be done. We've got a number out there who've done 2 pit stops. One who's done 3 pit stops. 2 Asian for you. Decided the 3-stop strategy is going to be the one that he is choosing today. Might have been a little bit of damage he's repairing at some point or another, or maybe a mistake he's trying to correct in the pit lane. So 3 stops for him at the moment. Oh, Flubber's very quick through the end of Casio Triangle. This will be an easy move on Dynasty down the main straight. We'll get the DRS. Open the flap. Will go. No, it won't. Unless that's a graphical glitch. But easy pass nonetheless. Yes, it is a graphical glitch. We're at the wrong camera angle to see the flap actually open. So the two-dimensional form remains rather two-dimensional in that camera view. Fancy that. Nonetheless, Flubber up to P5. 3-second penalty to his name, bear in mind. So still a bit of a moot point in this battle. Ricciardo 0.4 of a second away from the leader of this race. And they are pulling half a second a lap from Pep at the moment. That gap is now out to 7 seconds.
Yeah, they're doing super well there. Pep just hanging on. I mean, he's doing really well. I don't think he's under any threat, I mean, with Cooper to a podium, but anything could change. 3 seconds isn't a big gap, and one mistake could really dampen that. So I don't see how that goes. Cooper would be praying for a podium. That'd be a massive finish for Kick. There's Dynasty now looking like he wants to get the move back done on Flubber this lap, but look like the tyre situation here. I mean, optimal tyre, the hard tyre, everyone's sort of similar. Do you think SJ and Stoin have to pit again, or do you reckon I mean, they're probably just going to send it and try to get to the end, but
I mean, at this point, why not? Stay on the same tyre, you're in a decent position. Yeah, why not? And there's Sammy leaving the session, unfortunately. Yeah, I think at this point, you know, SJ's got a good chance to be pushing up there past Alamadi. There's 5 seconds. He just needs to, you know, keep the pace up at this point. What tyre is he on now? I think he's now on the hard tyre. Let me just get the tyres up. Yeah, he's on the hard tyres, and he's got Stoin.
Oh, Dynasty's around.
Oh,
Dynasty's
no.
he's made contact with the side of Flubber. Still
Wow.
P7, so that's not too much of a loss, but not ideal there. 7 seconds now.
Oh, I mean, bit more than that, because 7 seconds. Needs to be within 10 of Panic, but needed to be within 3 of Flubber to hold on to that position. That'll probably go to the stewards afterwards if there was contact in the S's, was it?
Yeah, it's a weird spot to make contact, but definitely will win. Stewards only sort of halfway through it, but big loss in time there for Dynasty. It's still not the end of the world. He'll probably make both those spots back up with the penalties. But yeah, no, he won't be happy with that, I'm sure. But that has sealed the deal in that sort of battle. And now we probably go a little bit further down to, I guess, Wogjet's looking like he might line up Stoin here. There's a few close battles down the back, actually, in that P12, P13 sort of position, but that's a shame for Dynasty.
So getting a little bit of information from the pit lane. From what we have been told, Flubber maybe moved over onto Dynasty through the S's, but yeah, Dynasty being side by side at all in that situation didn't need to be. Could just let people get past. It doesn't need to hold the racing line or anything like that, because he's got the guys with the penalties ahead. Just needed to be within a second of the battle. So that's really, really unfortunate there. Yes, Watanabe, there is something to note indeed. But I'll leave that to the rest of you guys to sort that all out. We're on board with the Governor at the moment, who's trying to build a gap over Stoin, but Stoin's on medium tyres. They're quite old, but SJ, if he can keep up with a good pace, could be potentially on to take a position away from Alamadi in P10.
Yeah, he's had a really good race, SJ. He'll hang on to that, but Stoin in that DRS, Wogjet on fresh medium tyres will be very hard to sort of slow down. A few guys just having a bit better of a race than they would have hoped, I think. Saying that Dynasty's reeled that gap in rapidly, he's almost dropped a second back to Panic already, so yeah, mate.
Well,
I mean, I think the closest battle's still up at the top.
Indeed. Hopefully we've got a admin in chat that can put up a prediction for us, but just so that we have it on stream that we actually did it this time, Dino, let's talk our Driver of the Day nominations for this one. And I'll kick things off. And I'm going to say Cooper the Bot, because he's qualified poorly, but he's raced really well throughout here. Hasn't made many mistakes throughout the race, and his pace is showing with the fact that he's gained so many positions.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper's a hard one to sort of go over. Just trying to see who else it could be. I mean, you couldn't ignore Grizz or Ricciardo either, but geez.
Oh, and a strange turn of events here. Sorry to interrupt you. See, Governor has ended up losing 2 positions, all in the space of 1 corner to Wogjet and Stoyan, who've gone up ahead. So that's P13 now for SJ. Sorry, back to you for driver of the day. Gives you a little bit of extra time to think about it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna say Grizz. Just in the just so that give it to someone new for once. Flying Kiwi has been up 10 positions. I know he has a penalty, but he's up 10 positions. I mean, jeez. How about we just do 3? Hopefully we can get a vote up, but we'll go Grizz, Cooper, and
Flying Kiwi, yeah.
Flying Kiwi. But I don't know. Hopefully we could get a vote up.
Yes, hopefully we do have a admin and chat that can do that. Fingers crossed. If not, I think it's /poll for any admin in chat that is able to put that up for us. But oh, Flying Kiwi with a penalty. Do you want to take him off the list now? Is your suggestion?
Yeah, maybe.
No, he's still done very, very well in this race. He's got the most positions gained in the race. He's up in the top 10. Done well, especially given that his... wow, we've got penalties coming in. The floodgates have truly opened. T. Salmons and Uncle Morty, both are Red Bulls getting penalties. Look at these two. Wogjet going to make the overtake on Stoyan. Does it beautifully in the background. It is Jeneth overtaking the Governor. So there we go. And we will be going to refocus ourselves on the battles towards the top of the grid for a little bit as well. But yeah, at the very least, we've got Grizz, Cooper, and Flying Kiwi, who are the predictions for the poll for driver of the day. If you want to let us know in chat, maybe put your votes in chat. We'll try and tally it up, actually, since we don't seem to have an admin on board. So could you let us know who's your driver of the day? It's got to be either Grizz, Cooper, or Flying Kiwi. Let us know in chat. I know you're all there. I know you're all listening in. Come on. A few presses on the keyboard and put your vote in for us so that we can help to choose the driver of the day today. Please, please do that for us. It'd be much appreciated. Here we go. Ricciardo right on the back of Grizz, and this is going to be the battle, a true showdown between the green cars on the grid at the top who've been neck and neck all race long. Comes down to the last 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, it's getting hectic up the top. 3/10 now between those two. What's your prediction here? Do you think Ricciardo will just, probably just sit behind to that last lap and make the move, or does he go early and try and break away? I think it's probably smart to hold on to that last lap. Save as much battery.
Yeah, you've got to save as much battery. You can make an easy overtake with the DRS, burn a little bit of battery into the last lap, and then just, save the battery up through the last lap to stick it on the apex, because you can't overtake through the remainder of this track until you're right at the end. So once you get through Casio Triangle, you just hit the ERS button, deploy absolutely everything, and you're not going to catch the person before the line. So if I were Ricciardo on the 26th lap, which is coming up, actually, at the end of the 26th lap, I'd be looking for that overtake on the straight. Okay, we have 1 vote in chat, driver of the day, Grizz, if he wins, a conditional vote. Very, very good there. Let us know, come on. We've got 1 vote in chat at the moment. Josie has put in an invalid vote for Master. So please let us know your driver of the day.
Full results. Plugger, yeah, we will scroll all the way down. Hopefully someone can screenshot that when they're watching. But yeah. Interesting times to start the second last lap, as Ricciardo will be saving his battery and making this sort of last-ditch effort. In saying that, though, at the moment, they're pretty much equal on battery, 80% each, as Ricciardo puts a little bit of pressure on him, does a little bit of a dive under the brakes just to try and make a mistake, but Grizz is well and truly in control here.
He's been much faster than Grizz all the way through that hairpin every single time, but Grizz is really opening up the corner so he can get the run on the straight. And this is where the gap starts to open up. So, that's exactly how it goes at the end of the day. If you focus on the corners when they're in the lead, you kind of block people at the apex, force them to get a slower run. Yes, I know everyone's saying whoever wins gets driver of the day. No, we've already chosen the drivers of the day here in the commentary box. It's either Grizz, Cooper, or Fly Kiwi. We need you to vote for one of those three. Hopefully we get that right. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, right now, it's going to go to Grizz because he's going to potentially win this race. We've got one vote on the board. Ricciardo's driven well. He's just not on our list today. Honourable mention for sure. Anyway, I'm not going to argue this point any further, Dido. It's the last lap of the race. Here we go. Let's take it away with Ricciardo.
Yeah, Grizz actually burnt down to 30% on that main straight, so he's gone early. He's tried to hold off that first sort of thing, but that's probably one of the most dangerous spots to be overtaken on anyway. So what does Ricciardo go here? He's in hot lap. He's in... Salmon's down the back's had a big moment, but almost impacts the front of the race, but hopefully no issues there. As Ricciardo now, 94% battery still, so he'll probably burn that. He'll start putting it to hot lap soon and starting to put some pressure on Grizz. Grizz trying to recure some battery back. He's back to 80. Very quick recovery on the battery there now. Ricciardo, big snap. That's going to allow Ricciardo to try. It's not enough. It's not enough for Grizz to put it back on hot lap. That was a very good opportunity for Ricciardo to get up the inside there. Man, now it comes down to this last straight, and pretty much who comes down to her has the most battery, and at the moment it's the Aston, about 20% more, and he'll start burning it. DRS will, I think there's no DRS on this straight. Very difficult spot to get a move done here. Doesn't free ADR. He's gonna. Jesus!
Whoa! That is so close, and he's going to try the outside line into Casio Triangle. Who's going to break latest? Ricciardo's on the outside line, but he's not got enough. Grizz has run wide, though. Who's in lead? It's Ricciardo. Ricciardo is going to come onto the top line. Oh, my goodness. It's separated by nothing. What a finish from Ricciardo. Sent it around the outside of Casio Triangle. He had enough battery to do so. Might have been a little bit of argy-bargy there. Elbows were certainly out. But what a finish of this race for the top two.
Oh, mate, that was insane. It was very, very good racing there in the end. Ricciardo just getting it off Grizz. 100 between them. But Grizz getting driver of the day pretty much with the one and only vote, still P2. So what a drive for those last two. They had to think Ricciardo just a little bit better on the battery. And that came down to the moment. Wow. Anyway, we'll look at who's next to cross the line. Wojciech, P11, will cross the line now and see where these penalties make everyone up. And who's that? Asif crashing over the line.
Celebratory, maybe. P12 for SJ. It'll be P13 for Stoyan and P14 for Jenneth. Wow.
Stoyan's just got a massive penalty for cutting the track. 10 seconds early. Very interesting.
Well,
very interesting.
That was a fascinating race at Suzuka, and as SJ predicted, slightly more interesting than what we saw in the real F1. So well done, Division 4, yet again bringing the action. And these two at the top, absolutely fantastic. There was a late attempt for Grizz. He was pushing hard onto that button for ERS deployment. He pushed it through the steering wheel, most likely. But it wasn't enough, unfortunately. So unlucky to Grizz for sure, but Ricciardo does win round 16 for Aston Martin. Fantastic stuff. We'll get the full results up on the screen and we'll cycle through them as well for this. So give us a few moments and we will get that done for you guys. And here we go. Full results up on your screen right now. Ricciardo, Grizz, Pep, Cooper, all the way down to P14. And then scrolling further down to the bottom of the grid. So that's your P6 to P19. Leave it up for a few seconds on track. Hopefully someone can get the screenshot now. Scroll back up to the top, and it is Ricciardo by 1/10 of a second. These guys were separated by nothing all the way through the race. Fantastic stuff. And can we get Ricciardo, Grizz, and Pep into the commentary box so we can proceed with our interviews for this race? Fantastic stuff. And yeah, it looks like we got Grizz as our driver of the day today as well. So full-time drive now with Kick in Division 4. Wasn't able to be here last week, but boy, oh boy, he has made an impact here today. Fantastic stuff by the driver making his debut in Division 4. So at the moment, Wogjet saying he deserves driver of the day. Well, We might have to take that one to the steward's box, mate. Unfortunately, as commentators have kind of overruled you on that one a little bit there. But yeah, Dido, great race from everyone on track. At the end of the day, Suzuka, it is an exciting circuit, isn't it? Have I convinced anyone yet?
Yeah, I hope so, mate. Especially after that last lap battle there between Grizz and Machado. But yeah, it's an exciting track, but a difficult track. I'm sure a lot of these guys are happy it's over. But obviously, we still got Div 2 right after this coming up. I'm actually racing in that, which is going to be fun. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think you might have persuaded a few people, mate, especially after that last battle. But I think there's still a lot of people on the opposing side of Japan.
I think so. I haven't convinced everyone just yet, unfortunately, but we shall see. Once this ends here, we'll get over to the screen and begin our interviews. In fact, we do have our third place man in the chat right now. So Pep is in the commentary box, and we are going to start off the interviews with our P3 finisher today. Pep, congratulations on P3. How was that race for you, mate? It was a tricky one out there today.
It's been a while to be on the podium, I must admit. But it was pretty clean. Like, it was, I don't know. Like, I pitted early to try and get undercut and hopefully work with Coop. But I think he got caught up in traffic. And then for the rest of it was just smooth sailing. Like, I just tried to keep the lead on Coop, which he had COVID, so I think that hindered his speed a fair bit because he would normally be catching me. But, yeah. So pretty boring race on my end.
Yeah, well, sometimes a boring race can be a good race, certainly for P3, and it is nice to see you back in the commentary box here for the final post-race interviews, and that obviously has implications on your driver championship hopes as well. And I think this is maybe the beginning of a bit of a resurgence. I know we've got another super fast driver in the grid now with Grizz, and Ricciardo still leading the way. Does this give you a little bit of confidence?
Not really. Everyone's improved a lot, and there's obviously some fast drivers that have joined midway through. Jeddah's probably a good track for me. Is it Jeddah next week? When's Jeddah? That's probably my. Sorry.
I think so. Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, that's probably one of my better ones. So maybe have another chance there, but I think I'm just concentrating on the overalls for now because my ship has sailed, I think.
Well, we hope that you have a good resurgence in the next few races. Of course, not much distance to go in the season. Talks about the little bit of action you had, scrapping a little bit with Sammy the Slammer early on.
No, I think it was pretty. The kick and the Aston got ahead pretty quick. I think at one point Sammy got onto the gravel a little bit, so then I overtook him. And then we just tried to work together a little bit, but he fell back a little bit and couldn't really catch up. So, and I don't know what happened to him. Unfortunately, he retired in the pits. So then I was just by myself for the rest.
Yes, indeed. Cool. Well, thank you very much. I'll pass you over to Dido for some questions.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered everything apart from that DRS to the top two, mate. Once you lost that sort of the battle became just top three. Just tell us a little bit how you sort of keep the consistency over a race like that when you're just by yourself. I mean, it can get pretty boring. So just tell us a little bit about how you hold that.
I was watching the time from Coop a lot, like a hawk, and then at one point I had to say death of me or something because I had an engineer talking to Dynasty, and I was like, I need to focus or I'm not going to be able to keep the speed because I normally make simple mistakes. But yeah, unfortunately Coop was a bit sick, so that's what I'm pulling it down to. He's pretty quick, so I've just got lucky.
Yeah, man. Well, good job tonight and good points again. Good to see you back on the podium.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pep. So our P3 finisher, Pep, for Mercedes. Congratulations to you. And now let's move on to our second place finisher, and it is a man who's debuting in the comms box for Div 4. It is Grizz. First of all, congratulations on your full-time drive, and congratulations on well and truly being the cat amongst the pigeons today. That was so close at the end. Talk us through a little bit of that. There must be some emotions and adrenaline running through the bloodstream right now.
Man, I was trying to lock in. Like every single lap, I knew I couldn't make a mistake because Ricardo was right behind me. So, mate, a lot of pressure. I'm boiling in my room right now. But that was great racing, and I knew it'd come down to the last lap. I was trying to get the same kind of exit out of the last turn, like I had been, and not breaking his DRS, but just getting that enough distance between me and him. But he did everything right on the last lap, and hats off to him, mate. It was an awesome battle. He definitely kept me honest. So. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, you showed some really fantastic pace and some really, really good racecraft as well, especially through the hairpin section. You were slow on the apex, but you were so quick out of it, and it just gave you that little bit of breathing room, and that's what kept you, so in contention all the way through this. And you guys were separated by absolutely nothing. That last little lap there, you deployed that ERS on the main straight, and Ricciardo was attacking.
Yeah. I think that was my downfall. I think I was just like I knew he was going to get my toe, so I just tried to get that little distance because I knew he was going to try and make a move into that hairpin, and if it comes side by side, I try and make it as clean as I can. So I just wanted to kind of get that single file into the last chicane, but it wasn't so, and he made an absolute unreal pass when he needed to. So no, definitely hats off to him. It was an awesome race.
Fantastic. And of course, we've got to talk a little bit about, of course, your full-time driver now for Kicksale, but up here in Division 4, which is fantastic. And alongside Cooper, that is a powerhouse. And the fact that Cooper had COVID today and still got a good result, I mean, if he can recover in the next couple of weeks, we're excited here to see what you guys are capable of.
No, I've raced a fair bit with Cooper now, and we're very similar in driving styles and pace. So it does feel like a bit of a powerhouse team. It's good to have a teammate that can perform and is very fast. So it's just a shame that he's a bit unwell tonight, but I'm sure he'll bounce back next week.
Certainly will. I'll pass you over to Dido for some questions.
Awesome.
All right, mate. Not much else to say other than, do you feel like burning on that back straight? Do you feel like you could have done anything else in that last sort of lap to maybe get the win? Because it looked like it could have gone either way, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's so close. It's like a 6 and 2 3s. Like anything I kind of did, he was right there to kind of counteract. But I mean, that's how close it was the entire race, right? So I just kept trying to break the DRS, and it wasn't to be. And like I say, he made the move when he needed to make the move, and made a beautiful move, nice and clean. So that's what racing's all about, man. So in all honesty, as much as it's second place, I'm still happy to kind of be a part of a community that races fairly, clean, and quite quick. So it's good.
Yeah, man. Well done, and I'm sure we'll see more of you in the comms box over the next few weeks.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate.
Thank you very much, Grizz. Congratulations on P2, and what a battle it was with the next man on our list to talk to. And that, of course, is the Aston Martin driver, Ricciardo, who makes yet another appearance in the Div 4 comms box. Ricciardo, mate, welcome in. 0.1 of a second was the gap there. Late move on the outside of Casio Triangle. Brave? Question mark?
Yeah, hats off to Grizz, man. By far the fastest man on the track. He, at the start of the race, I had like a maybe 2-second gap because him and Sammy were fighting or something. And then he just reeled me back in. And at times, he almost broke DRS when he was in front of me. And I had to burn a lot of ERS. So it all came down to my ERS management. And I knew he might think I'll overtake him on the DRS straight, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to send it into 130R, and paid off.
Yeah, well, we actually nearly ran to the back of him through there as well. You had a lot of overspeed coming up to 130R, and then, obviously, Grizz defended the inside, tried to hold it, but you were late on the brakes. It was a great little battle at the end there. He nearly got you, actually, on the exit, dived out to the outside line, but it wasn't quite enough, and you had the inside, so that worked out. But at the start of the race, let's reel this all the way back to the start of the race. You got away really, really cleanly. You built an initial bit of gap, and we thought, right, Ricciardo, with the pace that he's got, he's setting 27s, low 27s in qualifying, looking really, really strong, has a good race start as well. Now he's broken the slipstream, now he's going, and then suddenly Grizz is accelerating towards you on the medium tyres, and and looking like he's going to get you within a lap.
Yeah, his exit speed was phenomenal. At times it was like pissing me off. I was like, how is he getting this exit speed, man? And yeah, I just managed to stay with him for the whole race.
Excellent. Well, I'll pass you over to Dido for some questions.
Ricciardo, mate, I mean, you did everything right in that sort of last lap, that dash to the thing. It could have, like I said to Grizz, it could have gone any way between you two. Did you notice that? When did you feel like on that sort of last sort of burn towards the line? It looked like you guys got really close to actually making contact on the straight, and then you just sort of committed to the outside. Did you feel like you were like, yeah, I've got this move, or was it just sort of a pray and hope that you got the car stopped on that outside? Because it looked like if you just got it wrong, you were going straight into that runoff there, and Grease would have had it. But yeah, man, just tell us a little bit about your side from that last lap. It looked pretty hectic.
Yeah, I was just really focusing on getting a good exit out of that corner onto the straight. And then from there, I was just burning down to 130R and almost went to the back of him, but lifted off. And then as soon as I got a bit more room, just full power down and brake late. Yeah, managed to pull the move off cleanly. But yeah.
Yeah, mate. Well, I mean, it's no secret to you being in the comms box after the race, and obviously the championship looking like it's really coming alive now for you the last few races. So hats off, mate, and I'm sure we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much, Ricardo, and big congratulations. What a battle. Absolutely excellent stuff from our top two and the rest of the grid as well. Some fantastic battles throughout the entire grid. And by the way, Grizz, if you're still there, mate, I think you're still in the
Yes, sir.
complex. You are indeed. I get to congratulate you on being driver of the day today. Congratulations.
Oh, was I driver of the day? Cheers, man. Appreciate it.
By 2
Awesome,
votes to
man.
nothing.
Commanding lead then. No, awesome, man. No, like I say, I just appreciate being a part of the league and getting some good racing, solid racing, and it's good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much, Grizz. Congratulations on driver of the day. And Dido, yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, it was a good race overall. Makes me very excited for what we've got coming up in a week's time. But Division 2 for everyone's viewing pleasure coming up later on, and I believe you're driving for that, are you?
Yeah, mate, I am. Just trying to fill seats, but yeah, it should be a good one, and we will be back in not even half an hour racing again for more drama. But yeah, should be a good one, mate.
Should be a good one indeed. Dido, thanks again, as always, for being in the commentary box with me. Really appreciate your insights and analytics, as always. Final word from you, and then I'll round out the stream today.
Yeah, mate, just final words of thank you. And good stream tonight, of course. So we'll see you all next week.
Sounds good. All right, everyone, wish Dido the best of luck reserving up into Div 2 today. Thank you all for joining us on the Twitch chat, Rush Racing League. Much appreciated. Thank you for all the channel points redemptions. Thank you for all your chat interactions today. This has been Rush Racing League Season 8, Round 16 for Division 4 at the Japanese Grand Prix. What a fantastic round. And hopefully I've convinced a few of you that Japan is a pretty good circuit to go racing on. Certainly in F1 24. Big thanks to our sponsors, AI369, S Nation, Pagnian, and SimLabs. And thank you to all the guys in the background who do so much work to keep this league alive and running. My name's been George Cook. I've been joined by It's Dido today in the comms box. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. And the next commentators will see you in about half an hour. Until then, we'll see you next week for more Division 4 coverage. Bye-bye.